Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be running through my team selection ahead of UCL Match Day 1. I'm so excited for the game to be back. Of course, if you want to see more UCL Fantasy content on the channel, make sure you're hitting subscribe and of course, liking today's video. Any questions as well you've got about your first drafts, get them in the comments as we'll try to answer as many as we possibly can. And also, final shout out, we will be doing a deadline stream on Tuesday as well. We'll probably go live very early in the afternoon to try and give you guys the best help possible. We'll be doing team ratings, we'll be answering questions. So like I said, make sure you're hitting that subscribe button with bell notifications on as well, so you will be notified when I do go live on Tuesday. Let's talk through my chip strategy because I think it is one of the most important things when playing UCL Fantasy. You want to set your stall out right. You want to know when you're playing your chips. You want to know the best points to use your chips. And for me personally, it is going to be in the group stage. This is where you're going to get the biggest kind of, mismatches in terms of opponents. You're going to get games that are kind of, priced at like 10 to 1 for some teams to win, which of course we're seeing in game week 1 and obviously game week 2 and game week 3 and exactly that. You want to be taking full advantage of these fixtures where there are heavy one-sided games, because once we get to the knockout stages, it starts to tighten up a little bit. People's teams start to look very, very similar, and I think the overall kind of chips lose their effectiveness in kind of hindsight, to be honest. And as well, it is a very short format game. Obviously, it has extended over the past few seasons with the addition of the 2 extra match days in the group stage. However, it's still a very, very short kind of form content kind of game. You need to get your best kind of foot forward, because once we get to the semis and the final, there isn't too much movement in terms of your rank. I think you could even probably argue the quarterfinals, maybe, unless you've got some mad differentials that pop off. There's not too much movement. So what I would say is get your chip strategy set up for the group stage. And I'm going to talk you through mine, and pretty much you can go for it if you want to copy it. I understand. It's quite a good strategy, and I've seen a lot of other content creators on this strategy, and for very, very good reason. So in match day 1, we are going to treat it as a free hit. Now, it isn't a free hit, but basically what we're going to do is just pick the best fixtures for match day 1, and we've got some great graphics coming up that will show you the best fixtures for that week, and of course the future weeks as well. So all we're going to do is just look for those kind of one game week punts. Target the teams, like I said, with the strongest match day 1 fixtures. Sporting and Benfica have some of the best projected goals and clean sheet numbers we're going to see across the entire tournament just in game week 1. So I think we need to be loading up on Sporting and Benfica players, but you don't want these guys longer term. So that is then why we're going to wildcard in match day 2, ensuring we've got decent coverage for the remaining fixtures throughout the group stage. And then match day 5 is a week where I might play the limitless chip. Now, the limitless chip, I'm kind of leaving a little bit open at the moment, but I think 5 is the week that I've identified where I probably would like to play it. I'd like to load up on certain teams. I'd like to bring in certain players, and they've all got pretty difficult fixtures in 5. So if I can get around that with the limitless chip, stack into other premiums as well, and not have to, worry about their long-term fixtures, then I'm all for it. I think that potentially might be the ultimate play. I've seen a lot of other content creators on this strategy as well, and I think it is a very, very good strategy because, like I said, you're going to target those best fixtures in game week 1. You're going to get yourself a new team come match day 2, and then match day 5 to dodge all those difficult fixtures. You've got the limitless chip and you are going to activate it. Like I said, we do have some very, very good data graphics this season, and it has been provided by FPL Sharden or Shaden. I'm not 100% sure on the pronunciation. If you can let me know, mate, that would be appreciated. He does some absolutely amazing work around obviously modelling out kind of projected goals and clean sheet numbers. He's also got a points prediction thing that you can sign up for as well over on his Patreon. I'm going to leave a link in the description because there is so much that I am not showing in today's video what he actually has available behind the Patreon. So go and take full advantage of that. I'll leave a link in the description. I think he finished like 110th last year as well. So there's the proof in the pudding. His model works. The players that he kind of uses work as well. I was kind of roughly following it a little bit last year with my captaincy picks. I kept seeing him put up posts around the best players for each day. it definitely worked. It definitely helped me get some pretty decent captaincy picks. And now we've got obviously his projected clean sheet numbers and projected goal numbers. But if you, of course, want to look at even more that he's got to offer, there will be a link to his Patreon in the description. Let's take a look then at the clean sheet numbers. Obviously, with our side, we're going to be looking at the matchday 1 fixtures in particular. So we're seeing a big kind of, sporting numbers, 0.64, very, very decent. Real Madrid with 0.43, Liverpool, Arsenal with 4.2 as well, definitely worth a little bit of consideration. Olympiacos, PSG, Benfica. This is kind of where my defense is going to be built from. I'm just going to be looking at the teams here. Obviously, when the betting markets get a little bit closer to kick off as well, there might be a few tweaks. And obviously, we'll have a look at those as well on the deadline stream and look at the clean sheet numbers there. But yeah, they're definitely going to be numbers that we are going to be utilising. In terms of obviously a more longer term standpoint, game week 2 is then when we're going to wildcard. And it is looking likely that we're probably going to have an Arsenal defender throughout the course of this competition because they've been great in the Premier League defensively already this season. And we are seeing it as well on this list of numbers here. Napoli as well, probably a pretty decent bet for some cheap defenders as well. Liverpool potentially worth a little bit of a stab in the dark as well, potentially with them. Inter probably going to be on that wild card in match day 2 as well, with good fixtures for 2, 3 and 4. Obviously 4 their big standout. If we're limitless and in 5 as well, we can keep obviously the likes of Denzel Dumfries as well. So yeah, that's obviously where we're at with the projected clean sheet numbers. I'm not going to look kind of past match day 1 for my team really, but of course, like I said, if you want to go and check it out, I will leave a link to the Patreon link in the description where you can go and find all this data and so much more. We've also got the projected goal numbers as well. Again, we're just going to be focusing on match day 1 for our draft, with obviously us looking to take full advantage of it and use match day 1 as a free hit for this game week. So Real Madrid 2.44, definitely want to slice of that pie. PSG with decent numbers as well. Sporting with 3.05. Looking across the numbers here, there's only two other weeks where that is beaten, and that is match day 4 for Inter and match day 8 for Arsenal. Other than that, Sporting have the 3rd highest projected goals. We need to be taking full advantage of that, in my opinion, and that is why I've changed my strategy looking at these numbers. Benfica as well with 2.54 against Karabag. That again feels like a fixture I want to be loading up on. Obviously, the defensive numbers were looking pretty decent as well for that week as well. So these are the fixtures for me where I want to be targeting these high projected goals for match day 1. Of course, match day 2 and beyond, again, we're seeing Barcelona with some great numbers. So if your Mal's back fit and ready, he'll be a great shout. Rafinha as well. Liverpool's numbers looking pretty steady, but I'm a little bit concerned about the overall rotation within that attack. So that might be a little bit of an off-putting one. Bayern for match day 2 and match day 3 definitely need to be looking at the likes of Harry Kane and Michael Olise, potentially even Diaz for that one. Obviously, Real Madrid in match day 2, they've got a great fixture, and I think, a lot of us are going to be loading up on Real Madrid assets. More longer term, it does get a little bit more tricky, but I hope you can see this here with match day 5, right? So the teams that I want to load up on are probably going to be like Barca, maybe some Bayern players as well. Tottenham have pretty decent fixtures either side of it. PSG have a standout fixture in 5, but their other ones look a little bit patchy. Same with Napoli as well, like a great fixture. And then obviously we've got teams like Copenhagen who've got great projected goals for that week. But we are seeing more difficult fixtures around that match day 5, and that is why it's led me to this conclusion where I might just play it there, or potentially in match day 6. I'm kind of leaving it a little bit open at the moment with my team and see how things progress obviously throughout the tournament. But match day 5 and match day 6 are going to be the 2 weeks where I am going to use the limitless chip. Like I said, we're going to move on to my team in a second, but make sure you are checking out the link in the description. Of course, if you want to go and check out the amazing data that has been put together, and there is, like I said, so much more projected points and stuff like that, which is of course on the Patreon, that you guys should go and check out. And yeah, let's go and take a look at how my team is lining up for match day 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's not waste any more time. Let's dive just straight into this team. Like I said, if you skip through the first bit and are just watching the team selection, we are going to be treating match day 1 as a free hit and wildcarding in match day 2. So we are, of course, targeting the best fixtures. Let's start off first then with our goalkeeper pairing. It is going to be Benfica and Olympiacos' goalkeeper. Now, I need to do a little bit more research on who the Olympiacos goalkeeper actually is, because their most expensive goalkeeper is suspended. Now, they've got 2 4 million goalkeepers, so I've got to just try and find out which one it is. They've got great projected clean sheet numbers, as we just saw from the data back there. Also Benfica as well, I think it was like 0.62 on the clean sheet projections. Like, that is something I want to be taking full advantage of. Obviously, if there are a change when potentially betting markets do come out and we see what those numbers look like in terms of the projected clean sheets there, we might have a little bit of a change around in terms of our goalkeeper pairing, but for right now, I am pretty happy with it. Heading into our backline then, again, we saw PSG with great projected goal numbers, decent clean sheet numbers as well from the data provided from FPL Chardon. And I want to take, again, full advantage of that. Nuno Mendes and Hakimi feel like two absolutely great picks. Hakimi, I think, regardless of whatever fixture he shows up in, is just an absolute beast. Of course, if you played Champions League Fantasy last year, you know that this guy is just one of those generational talents where you can pretty much play him in any fixture, and he's just great. Club World Cup as well, he was like, people were captaining him, and he was just absolutely smashing it out of the park with clean sheets, goals. The guy's an absolute beast. Nuno Mendes, probably on the lesser of that, but like I said, with this just being a 1 week punt, we might as well go and get the double PSG defence with, of course, those decent projected clean sheet numbers. Arsenal as well had pretty decent numbers, and I think the way that they've started the Premier League season definitely indicates that they're going to be a tough side to beat in Europe this year. They're going to be very, very resilient, and I think Gabriel could do exceptionally well. Obviously, Arsenal scoring a lot of goals as well from set pieces at the moment, and I'm surprised Gabriel hasn't showed up with one in the Premier League so far. Maybe Europe is where he's going to do it. And like I said, Gabriel for me just feels like a nice little pickup for match day one. Otamendi, again, with Benfica's very, very good clean sheet numbers. I want to be taking full advantage of that. Also can pick up quite a few ball recoveries across the back line as well. Sporting, this is where we pick up our first Sporting player, had the best projected clean sheet numbers. It was just ridiculous. I think it was 0.64 on the model that we just saw back then. Yeah, like, you've got to be taking advantage of that. Like, it's well over 50% that you need to be taking, like, any sort of notice of. And when it's 64, people like Debas are just going to be like absolute locks. And one of the beautiful things that I like about the likes of Otamendi, Debas, Taburbin, they're like all under 5% owned, and like I'm pretty confident they're going to keep clean sheets. So we could be looking at like an absolute mega score from some of our players here, because they're just like well under owned. They're going to be pretty much, you know, highly projected to keep those clean sheets. And it's a competition where you need to take it seriously. You need to win these games against the easy opponents to get yourself through to the next stages, because you are going to face some difficult opponents across the course of the Champions League group stage. So you need to take full advantage of it. Match day one, I still feel they're going to probably go full strength, and they're just going to give it the beans. So yeah, feeling pretty confident on the back line as a whole. There might be a few changes, obviously, when we get the betting data released, that we might potentially make a few switch ups. But for right now, I'm feeling pretty confident on that one. Let's head into the midfield then, and there are a few placeholders, I would say, in here that can very easily change over the course of the next kind of 24 to 48 hours. Mohamed Salah, I am filming this before the Burnley game has taken place, so I don't know what he's done this weekend in the league. But Liverpool, again, one of those sides that were right up there for projected numbers. I might be tempted to, of course, go for Güler, who's had a great start under Xavi Alonso. He is looking great within that 10 role, really, really impressing me. Only 6 million as well. He could be a great pickup regardless of whatever strategy you're on. At 6 million for Real Madrid, playing good minutes, taking set pieces as well. He could be a real gem as well, to be honest. But we've gone with Salah for now. He could, of course, change depending on his performance against Burnley, depending on the minutes he gets against Burnley as well, and depending what those projected goal numbers look like from the bookmakers. But I've taken a look at SpreadX. Liverpool are still quite heavy favourites for that game heading into match day one. Obviously, we're seeing Vinny Jr., our first Real Madrid player, in there. Again, Marseille, I think, are like 9-10 to 1 to win that game. Again, I want a slice of that pie. He, of course, isn't going to be the main man, but, you know, he's going to be a part of that Real Madrid attack. And if we can just get him out for match day 2 or match day 3, regardless, I'm not too worried about him as a short-term punt. He's only at 17% owned as well, and could be one of those players that absolutely explodes. He's got that capability within his locker, so hopefully he can deliver the goods. Barcola, again, PSG have quite a few injuries at the moment. Obviously, Dembele would be the player that I would really like, but they do have quite a few injuries. So we've gone with Bradley Barcola for now. We might also look at Cava as well, depending on, again, the PSG lineup for this weekend. Again, that's one of those that could potentially be interchanging. We've got a little bit of the money in the bank anyway, so of course we can just swap it around if we did want to go for that. Perisic has been a beast out in the Eredivisie. If you don't know, he's basically playing as like a right winger right now for PSV. He's picked up 4 assists and 1 goal already. Picked up an assist this weekend as well, with PSV winning 5-3. They've got Union Saint-Gilloise in their opening game. Again, 1.91 on the FPL Chardon model. So I'm feeling pretty confident that they're going to be pretty decent pickups as well. Like I said, getting an out-of-position player that should realistically be down as a forward for that 6.5 million bracket for a side with a great fixture. Again, just feels like a bit of a cheat code. Then we've got Trincao, I believe it's pronounced, from Sporting. Again, they've got the best projected numbers. 3.05. We need to be taking full advantage of that, in my personal opinion. That's why we've gone with Trincao. 2 goals, 1 assist for him. There's also another guy from Sporting. I can't remember the name off the top of the head. I could genuinely be tempted to maybe sack off the Bast and bring in another Sporting attacker. If I think they're going to score lots of goals, which I'm very confident of it, I might just go triple attack and, you know, just cover it, because there does feel like quite a lot of upside. Like with the Bast, I'm probably only going to get maybe like 6, maybe 7, 8 if he gets a couple, you know, ball recoveries. But if I go for the midfielders, they could really, like, genuinely do some serious damage and score plenty of goals. So maybe looking at the triple attack might be the approach that we do go for with them. Of course, if I do feel like they're going to absolutely smash it out of the park. Let's finish up then with our strikers. We've got Kylian Mbappe, Pavlidis, and Luis Suarez. Again, Pavlidis and Luis Suarez, we saw on the FPL Chardon model that the projected goal numbers for this week are just incredible. Genuinely just amazing numbers. Again, we need to just be taking full advantage of that. You look at the spread betting models at the moment as well. Sporting are, you know, heavy favourites. The team that they're facing, is it Cam? I can't remember their name off the top of my head. Carrot Almaty are like 18-1 to win that game currently on SpreadX. Pavlidis is up against Karabag. They're 11 or 12-1 as well to win that game. So you've got to just be taking full advantage of these heavy favourite fixtures. And like I said, with us obviously activating the wildcard in game week 1, we can just go and get their best fixtures. And I spoke about it with the Bass and Otamendi. Again, look at the ownership of some of these guys. 2% here. 2%. 9%. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous, genuinely ridiculous numbers that we're seeing for these. Obviously, Suarez and Pavlidis, both penalty takers as well. You know, I absolutely love to go and abuse that metric as well. So I'm looking at it, I'm just thinking to myself, like, maybe we do drop the Bass and maybe we do, you know, off either Salah or Perisic, get another Sporting attacker in there or a Benfica midfielder as well, and just fully go for these easy fixtures and just really try and milk as many points as we possibly can out of these attacks. Because if they're going to be like 1 or 2% owned and they absolutely destroy them and cook and get hat-tricks and they're only at 2%, genuinely we could be in a position where we're like top 100 in the game. Like it's not even me being like arrogant. It is me just saying that we need to be targeting these massive one-sided fixtures. If you watched any of the Club World Cup performances, you know that these one-sided games you need to be taking like literally full advantage of. Short-form tournaments as well. If we can get out with a great start, I'm feeling very confident. Obviously, Kylian Mbappe is going to be our captain for the first round of games on the 16th against Marseille. I think they're like 9 or 10-1. He's having a great season out in La Liga this year on penalties. Pretty self-explanatory as a pick, to be honest. So, yeah, that is how my team is lining up for this week. I'm very happy with it. Like I said, I'm happy with the strategy. I think, obviously, on the deadline, there might be potentially 1 or 2 further changes, potentially. But overall, I think I'm pretty much set and locked with the overall structure of this team. Like I said, if you've got any questions about your team, get them in the comments as we'll try to answer as many as we possibly can. But thank you for watching today, ladies and gentlemen, and good luck in Match Day 1.